Sorry for the interruption. I was talking about the group project. Do you have any question regarding the group project or any assignments? Do you have any question you want to ask me before we proceed into our class? Okay, so no.
It's clear,
Doctor,
Doctor.
Okay. So today we are going to talk about photography in education. What do we mean by photography? Can anyone share with me what is photography?
pictures.
Yes, using picture, whether it's still images or movies, right? So this is what we mean by picture. And the definition of photography, it actually comes from two Greek words, photos meaning light or reflection, and graphen meaning writing or drawing. So photography is actually a combination of art and science to create an image and that can be seen through human eyes. Anything that we can see through our eyes is actually pictures. Okay. And for the history of photography, it started in the 19th century. Thomas Whitgood can use image from lens. It's called obscura camera. And this is actually the first man ever photographed. This is the first photograph that have ever been photographed on planet. Okay, and this actually picture took 7 minutes for the exposure to take this picture. So anything in the street was moving, it was not included in the picture unless, if you can see here, there is a man getting his shoes cleaned. Okay, this man, the process of cleaning the shoes took actually 7 minutes, which is the time of taking the picture. That is why the only object or only a human that we can see in this picture is this man. Okay, so this is the very first picture was taken, uh, you know, on the planet. And this is the story of this man and the cameraman who actually took this picture. So we always say that the picture is worth 1,000 words. Why? Can anyone answer why the picture worth 1,000 words?
Because
Anyone?
sometimes, because sometimes, pictures shows us something that we cannot say with words.
Exactly. Pictures, guys, shows us some facts or emotional that we cannot actually deliver when we talk. When you show somebody a picture of a child crying, the picture actually, you know, deliver the meaning of crying better than thousands of words. If I start explaining about the child and he is crying and he is sad and he is desperate and so on, uh, it doesn't worth the meaning of when I show this child picture. As we can see, so the picture actually tells us about facts that happened in uh, in the past, for example, and photographs recorded images that the unaided eye could not see. We could use micro photograph to actually take pictures of something that we as a human cannot see by our own eyes. And photograph capture the moment of history. We have a lot of history. Without picture, we wouldn't know anything about our history. We wouldn't know, the clear picture of these, certain events if we didn't have picture. And as I mentioned about the emotional, it could easily deliver the meaning of the picture, better than saying about the situation, about the fact, visual information, more realistic, and so on. Okay, so here's some of the picture as an example. And pictures, as I mentioned, tells us about the fact that we need to know. For example, in this picture, Apollo, the first man on the moon, if we didn't have this picture, we couldn't actually imagine the surface of the moon or how does it look like. Okay, all these picture about the surface of the moon and so on. So when we talk about cameras, we have actually two main parts we need to consider: the body of the camera and then the lens. And this class, guys, previously, we could actually take you into the studio, and Mr. Fuad would like actually give this class, not me. But since we are online, I brought this camera for you so that you could get the meaning. So this is the body of the camera right here, okay? And this is the lens. Without the lens, we cannot actually take any photo. The camera would be useless. And the lens as well controls very much everything. If you have a very, very good lens with not very good body, still you are going to get a very good quality of images. But if you have a very good body, very expensive body, for example, Canon 8D, with a very bad lens, it's useless. So everything, very much everything about the lens, okay? So this is the lens of the camera here. From here, we can see actually we could control the focus. We could control zoom in and zoom out. You can see, okay, this is zoom in and zoom out. And this is the focus of the camera. You can see, guys?
Yes. Instructor. Yes, instructor.
Yeah. And here is the body where you can see the shutter here, where we could plug the lens directly into the body. Okay. So the body is actually a light-proof box and where the controls of exposure, settings, and other effects are located in. Everything that we need to adjust or set, we need to do it in the body. For example, the lighting, the quality of the video or image, the flash, the setting, whether it's manual or auto, TV settings, or just regular videos, and so on. Okay, everything that we could control, it's actually from the body. And I would like to actually turn on. Okay. And we have three main parts of the camera that we need to be aware of. First thing is aperture, which is the camera lens aperture that controls the amount of light. The moment you took the picture, the amount of light goes from the camera to the object that you snap the picture of. This is what we call the aperture, and this is actually something like automatically happens when you took the picture. When you click, it goes like it's just like lightning or something. So the amount of light, it's called the aperture. And we have something called shutter. Shutter actually controls the length of time light is exposed to the image um, sensor. Okay, so this is actually could help us create the frame of the video. For example, some picture, when you take some picture by your phone, some picture will be out of focus if the one that you took the picture of is moving. He needs to be still to take the picture more to the picture to be more quality. This is what we called shutter. And then we have camera image sensors, which is the light is captured or read by a sensor prior to being stored in the camera memory. The image sensors actually after taking the image. So the light is captured or read by the sensor prior being stored in the camera memory. These are the main parts of the camera. And we have many types of cameras. We have view cameras, rangefinder cameras, compact pocket cameras, single lens reflex camera, SLR, and we have DSLR, we have twin lens reflex, TLR, and so on. We will get to know each one of them. The first one is view camera, which is pretty old, and it's not no longer used nowadays. And we have the rangefinder camera, the one that we used to have like a tape. We put a tape inside of the camera, which is no longer used because nowadays we just have this type of memory. See here, this memory, we could actually easily plug in the memory inside our camera. When we finish, we put the memory in our laptops and then transfer all the images. And this is the compact camera, the twin lens reflex, which is used in professional studios back then. Two twins, one twin for the light and one twin for the light. The other lens is for the picture itself. And we have the single lens camera, SLR, that we use nowadays, and we have DSLR as well, and we have SLR digital camera. For the view camera, these cameras used for studio portrait group. The shutter speed and aperture can be controlled. The focus process must be in dark close, which means the background. It's very big and heavy and must use a tripod. As I mentioned, it's for professional use only, and it's hard actually to find someone still using this kind of cameras nowadays. For the large film sheet form, size 10.2 cross 12.7 centimeters. And for the twin lens reflex, actually, as I mentioned, it has two lenses, one for the picture and one for the light. Okay. Not suitable to take action movement. You need to be still, very still, only for example, passport photos or something like that. It's very, very old, the double twin. And we have the single lens reflector SLR, 35 millimeter film. See the subject and focus through the same lens, flexible and can be used in any situation. Lens can be changed and controlled. The advantage of nowadays cameras that you could have actually 20 lens or more based on your needs and based on your budget. It's not actually something that is built in. As I mentioned, we can easily detach the lens and you could have a very, very good quality lens with your camera. And we have the SLR large format. It's for shooting movies and films and so on. Professional portrait being used in studio photography and it's very heavy. You need to use a tripod. For the digital camera, it's DSLR. So it's digital, but single lens reflector as well. So it's DSLR. And of course, it has a lot of advanced options that is based on technology. It could take images, pictures. The image quality is quite high. It could be a full frame pictures, and it uses flash card, compact, and floppy disk. As I mentioned, it's just you take the flash card and log it in your laptop and transfer all the pictures. And for the exposure, the total amount of light reaching the film plan or the image sensor determined by shutter speed and lens aperture. The exposure, guys, it's the, as I mentioned, whatever we let light, you know, reach the object that you are taking picture of, this is what we call exposure. And this is a formula for exposure, and it's just for your information. None of that is going to be in the exam. Okay, and the major control aperture diagram, the plus exposure meter, shutter plus dial speed, and film speed, ISO, picture composition. ISO, it's or what is called ISO. It's a type of quality that we record video using ISO to make the quality very high, while in the same time the size of the file will not be very high as well. And for the aperture diagram plus exposure meter scale, it functioned to control how much light came into the exposed the film using scale meter. And for the professional, using aperture to determine the depth of the field. Aperture, guys, it's for whatever, as much as you have more aperture in your camera, the quality of the image or the video will be higher. That's what I want you to understand. And as you can see here in the lens, can you see here these numbers? Yeah. This area actually clarify the depth of the field appears sharp, while the areas in front of and beyond the depth of field appear blurry. You can see here, this is from this number 18 to 100. Okay, 18 to 153. Any image goes inside this area, it will be very clear and focused. And any object out of this range will be out of focus, will be blurry. Okay. You can see this example in this one in the left, okay? The face of the first boy is very clear and sound. The other boy is less quality, less focused. And object C, which is the man behind, is the most out focused or a blurry item because it goes from 1, 2, and 3. And this is one more exam of how we could actually make the background blurry or out of focus. If we select, if we come close to the object, this is the object I want to take picture of, okay? And the camera will be very close, only 2.5, and it will be very, very clean, and anything else in the background will be out of focus, totally out of focus, blurry. As you can see here in the first one, in your left, the background is out of focus. If you take the camera a little bit behind, the background will be out of focus as well, but somehow it's less than when you close up the camera to the object, and it goes along the way. For example, in the last picture here, it's actually quite far, so there is actually no blurry or out of focus for the background. Is it clear?
Clear, Doctor.
Okay. And for the camera settings, shutter speed control is actually a mechanical tool to control how long lighting will be exposed to film. Everything that we need to understand about camera settings is actually here in the menu. I'm not sure you can see it, but nowadays cameras, guys, are very, very much easy to deal with. It's actually all about the system of the camera. You just hit menu and you can go control everything you need. The lighting, the quality, the frame, how many frame in 1 second, and the output, actually, what kind of output you need to record, whether it's MP4 or do you want to shoot, for example, 4K and HD for YouTube channels and so on. And these some of the websites you could actually go and have a look. I'm going to upload these slides later on in e-learning so that you can have a look. And this is actually the differences between low speed meter and high speed meter. High speed meter could be used to record, for example, action movies or cars. When I record or snap something in motion, we need high speed meter. And for the low speed meter, it could actually record some actions, but it's not going to be, as clear as we want. Okay. We have two main categories of camera setting lens. The fisheye lens, wide angle lens, normal standard lens, telephoto lens, zoom lens, and we have macro lens and prime lens only. These kind of macro lens, the second type, and prime lens, it's actually for some objects that we cannot see by our own eyes. That's why it's called macro lens. For example, you can see while browsing in the Facebook, you can see the eye of a mosquito or a fly, very detailed. This is actually a production or outcome of the macro lens. And this could be for a very, very high professional use only. While other types of lenses like fisheye, wide angle, normal, standard, all these types we could use it for example, if you are a photographer, as maybe it's your hobby to take pictures, you can use any lens that you like. This is an example of the fish eye lens. It could actually show you the curve of the planet, and this kind of images is more wider, but it's curvy. And this is, as I mentioned, the macro lens. We could see every details in the mosquitoes here, even the hair, the eye, the color of the eye. So this kind of macro lens, it's used for more details by professionals. So how ISO is a reflex to light. This is the standard for film speed and sensitivity to the light. If we have slow speed, medium speed, and fast speed, what I want you to understand from this, where did it go? What I want you to understand from this numbers, all these numbers, is that when we have a very fast film speed, we will have a very good quality output. And when we have a slow speed and sensitivity to the light, it could be actually a good quality, but it's not as good as if it's a fast speed and sensitivity. And these are three types of images. The first one, as you can see here, the nose is the main focus of the picture, and then the eyes, and then the whole face. And this picture, so this is what we call in focus, because we focused on the face in general. So when we want to take a picture of a face and we want to focus on the details, we go to the middle of the face, which is the nose. Just hit in your phone at the nose of the the one that you are going to take picture of, and then this is what we call in focus. Out focus, if you only shot the nose and all the face details are out of focus, this is called out of focus. And as you can see, the third picture here is it's reversed. Instead of the background that should be blurry, the object, which is the woman right here, it's blurry, while the background is clear. Okay. As long as we need more details, we need to, as I mentioned in this example, if you need more details, you just need to go closer to the object. But in order to do that, you need to have a very good lens, which is the micro lens or whatsoever. So this is called a close-up shooting, the one that use the perfume here and very close the camera to my object. It's called close-up shooting. And this is kind of dynamic line that can increase attention and unity. When you take a picture of an object in the middle of, for example, nature or in the middle of buildings and so on. All these are examples of close up, use frame as foreground, impression of depth. Yeah, these are some examples of pictures that is full of actions. If we take a look at this picture, we can actually tell a story that this child is very happy and these cats are fully in love. So that's all about photography. And as I mentioned before, we usually used to take our students to the studio and then show them all camera details and so on. But I brought my own camera to show you uh, the main parts, main functions of the camera and so on. I hope everything's clear. And please, if you do have any questions, ask me. Do you guys have any question about photography, cameras?
Uh,
Yes.
Regarding the ISO, sir. So what if we are shooting at night and or in the morning? Does it have any different? I mean, do we need to change the ISO?
Exactly. Uh, some cameras we cannot actually shoot at night because lighting is everything for the camera. Believe me, if you have a very good camera and you have a poor lighting settings, it's not going to be good for you. So lighting is everything for the camera. Regarding the ISO, you need to change it according to the lighting settings that you have. Even though you are shooting in the dark, you need lighting. You cannot shoot in the dark. You need certain kind of lighting, whether it's lamps or whatever it is, but you actually need lighting. Without the lighting, the camera settings are going to go for waste.
Okay, doctor, thank you.
Anybody else?
No.
There was some guy want to ask me just now.
Sir,
Sorry?
why the expensive camera is more effect usable than the cheap one?
Okay. This is a very interesting question, but expensive cameras are built with very good, accessories and so on. But as I mentioned, if you are a beginner and if you have not very expensive camera, but with a good lens, you can do just fine. Uh, Better than buying the expensive cameras with a bad lens. This is actually something a lot of people do. They go for a very expensive camera, maybe 7, 8 thousand, and when they want to buy the lens, they choose a very cheap one, which is very strange. No, the lens is the key here. the lens and the lighting is very, very important factors when you want to shoot, for example, videos. About the photos, you can actually, there's certain lens and still cheap lens that could do the job for the image, the still images. But I'm talking about the videos, how to produce a very high quality videos. You need first the lighting and then a very, very good lens. But you know, whenever you go, more expensive is going to be more quality. That's the secret of the companies actually.
Yeah, thank you, sir.
Yeah, welcome. Any more questions, guys? Everything clear?
Clear.
No, okay. I'm going to upload these slides into e-learning, and thank you very much for attending for today's class, and see you next week. Bye bye.
Thank you, Doctor.
Bye.
Thank you, doctor.
Thank you, Doctor.
Thank you, Doctor.